What up, though? Newspapers.com, The Weekly Telegraph, Macon, Georgia, Tuesday, July 23rd, 1850. 1850, not long ago. $25 reward, runaway from the subscriber on the 25th of last month. A Negro man named Charles, 23 or 4 years old. He is a dark mulatto. Now understand, they're calling him a dark mulatto. They also called him a Negro. You, like me, have learned or were taught that a Negro is different from a mulatto. A Negro, in some cases, is synonymous. In some things I've read, a Negro is synonymous with someone from the place that is termed Africa, or someone of African descent, or an African American or a black. But a mulatto is oftentimes synonymous with someone that's half European and half Negro, or half European and half African or African descent. Well, we know that Europeans don't all look like the people we term as white today. Some Europeans, a lot of Europeans, look like you, look like me. So, what is the truth in this when describing Charles? Is he a Negro or is he a dark mulatto? Well, a mulatto, like I just said, is someone that is supposed to be half European and half Negro. But here we have Charles, who is a Negro man named Charles. He is a dark mulatto. So, in other words, Charles is a brown-skinned American Indian. Let's shake it. About 6 feet high, weighs about 180 pounds, wears whiskers, has rather small eyes, has some warts on his left hand, and has cut a wart from off his middle finger, off the left hand lately, and pared off the end of the finger halfway to the nail. Yeah, tell us, my goodness, they put him under a microscope. Charles was raised in Cass County by Major John Dawson. Now, think about this. Why do they always in these newspaper articles only give you the quote runaway end quote? They only give you the runaway's first name. And it says he was raised in Cass County by Major John Dawson. He can write, and no doubt he will travel under a pass or free papers of his own writing. Me personally, from reading and learning about American history and also about my story, I think it's a possibility that Major John Dawson was Charles's father. And I think in a lot of these cases, when they give you only the first name and not the surname. They're trying to cover up the fact that the people who are looking for them are their parents. In some cases, not all. Charles was raised in Cass County by Major John Dawson. He can write, and no doubt he will travel under a pass or free papers of his own writing. He is well acquainted in the Cherokee country. He is well acquainted in the Cherokee country and in Tennessee and Augusta, Georgia, Charleston, South Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia. Again, Charles is a brown-skinned American Indian who is well acquainted in the Cherokee country and in Tennessee and Augusta, Georgia, Charleston, South Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia. He is very likely and very smart, can tell a lie with as much assurance as any Negro. He talks with great firmness. I have no doubt but that he will attempt to get to Ohio or some other free state. But I thought he had his, they said he will travel under a pass or free papers of his own writing. He may pass under the name of Charles Blake or Charles Smith or some other fictitious name. I will pay the above reward for his delivery to me in Macon, or $20 for his arrest and confinement in any safe jail so that I get him. I will pay the above reward for his delivery to me in Macon, or $20 for his arrest and confinement in any safe jail so that I get him. Spencer Riley, July 2nd. The Weekly Telegraph, Macon, Georgia, Tuesday, July 23rd, 1850. What you know about 1850? You know, around this time it is said that the, quote, slaves, end quote, were set free, or slavery was abolished, or employment was abolished for some, right? But what do you think about 1850? If someone asked you about 1850, what's the first thing that pops in your head? Not you necessarily, but a lot of people who look like you. What would they say their people were doing? Their people wouldn't even have a name. They would call their people slaves, right? That's it. The Weekly Telegraph, Macon, Georgia, July 23rd, 1850. Newspaper article, Boots and Shoes. A good assortment of men's, boys, and Negro shoes constantly on hand and for sale low. By T.M. Jackson, Brother and Company. T.M. Jackson, Brother and Company. They say they got men's, boys, and Negro shoes. What's the difference between men's, boys, and Negro shoes? Now, does the Negro represent, are they saying Negro to represent males and females that they call Negro? Or is the Negro the male? A good assortment of men's, boys, and Negro shoes. What is it about them Negro shoes? The Negro shoes might have been Louboutins. They might have had, the Negro shoes might be the fresher shoes, the doper shoes, the Jordans. What you think? Okay, newspapers.com, Quad City Times, Davenport, Iowa, Monday, February 5th, 1855. The frequent acts of encroachment and aggression by Great Britain on the territory of Central America since its separation from the dominion of Spain by changing the southern boundary of the Belize settlement from the river Sarson in glaring violation and contempt of positive treaty stipulations from the river. I'm not really sure what that word is, but it's a river near the Belize settlement in South America or Central America, of positive treaty stipulations in feloniously settling, occupying, and fortifying the isles of Rutan, Bonacon, Utila, and Barbaret, on the impudently persisting to regard the Negro Indians of the Mosquito Coast. The Negro Indians. How many times have you ever heard Negro Indians? You heard Cleveland Indians, right? But Negro Indians, and remember, we just spoke about Charles, the Negro runaway. They also called him a dark mulatto. So right now we're speaking of the Negro Indians of the Mosquito Coast. We're speaking of Belize, Central America. As an independent or free people, to regard the Negro Indians of the Mosquito Coast as an independent or free people, not owing allegiance to the states of Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and Honduras, has been justly regarded and denounced by the people of the United States as acts of oppression and outrage on the sovereignty of the states mentioned. The St. Louis Republic, St. Louis, Missouri newspaper, Thursday, May 12th, 1859. What do you know about 1859? Again, I keep stressing the fact that a lot of us, not me, not you maybe, but a lot of nuggers, when asked about 1859, would say that their people were slaves. The St. Louis Republic newspaper, May 12, 1859. Wanted to hire a likely Negro woman, wanted for 1 year. She must be a good cook and understand to wash and iron in a small family living in Corandelet. Applications to box 2671 St. Louis Post Office will be attended to. It says applications to box 2671 St. Louis Post Office. Did you think likely Negro women, there were ads in the newspaper for likely Negro women to cook, wash, and iron for small families? They want the likely Negro women. They want the likely American Indian women to come fill out an application, right? Just because Aunt Jemima wore a scarf on her head and a dress that you might not have worn. But guess what? A lot of us then wore scarves on our head, and a lot of y'all wear scarves on y'all head today. A likely Negro woman wanted for 1 year. They reaching out to Negro women. They reaching out to American women in 1859. The St. Louis Republic newspaper, Thursday, May 12th, 1859. Another want ad. The classifieds. Wanted, a colored woman. Now we talking about a colored woman. Same thing. See, the thing is, what you have to understand is, to the foreigner, to these foreigners, to the Anglo-Saxon, America is 31 flavors. Let's shake it. We ice cream. A colored woman to cook and do general housework for a family of 2 persons. Must come well recommended. Apply at number 99 Locust Street immediately. They said apply immediately. A colored woman to cook and do general housework for a family of 2 lazy motherfuckers. They lazy. But the thing is, we have no idea who want to hire this colored woman. Could it be 2 lazy colored persons? 2 lazy American Indians? An American Indian woman wanted to cook and do general housework for a family of 2 persons. The St. Louis Republic newspaper, Thursday, May 12th, 1859. Another want ad. Wanted to hire. Check it. A Negro girl, about 12 years old, to nurse a babe in a private family. Address P.O. Box 3556. A Negro girl, an American girl, an American Indian girl. Get as specific as you want. We don't know what state she from St. Louis. So a St. Louis Indian, about 12 years old, to nurse a baby in a private family. Look, I know what nursing means, but I don't know if nursing means that. It probably mean the same thing I think it mean right here. But if it mean what I think it mean, man, let's move on, man. Let's move on. Let's move on. 12-year-olds, they taking out ads in the newspaper for a 12-year-old to come nurse their baby. Why? Why would they want a 12-year-old to nurse their baby? Sheesh. Oklahoma State, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Oklahoma State newspaper, Thursday, September 27th, 1894. 1894. Do you know where your people were in 1894? I know where a lot of my people were in 1894. I know where, I can't say a lot, because, the people I know about, they had children, cousins, aunties, uncles, grandparents, all that stuff, man. So I know what I know about my people from 1894, around that time period. You should as well. And if you don't, it's time to get started. Oklahoma State newspaper, Thursday, September 27th, 1894. What you think was happening in 1894? Well, I'm going to tell you what was happening in 1894. Somewhere in what we term today as the United States or North America. Yeah. Where your people from. This what was happening. It was reported on the 19th that a band headed by Chief Blue, the leader of the Chickasaw Negro Indians, was in open rebellion. The insurrectionists had gone out on a marauding tour and were terrorizing the Indian citizens, especially the squaw men. Now, squaw men, if you don't know, are Anglo-Saxons who are married to, quote, Indians, end quote. So we talking biracial relationships here. The eastern part of the Chickasaw Nation was in a state of terror. So what we have here sounds like, I'm just reading the words on the page. What we have here is some Chickasaw Negro Indians or some Chickasaw Indians. Some American brothers who had a problem with these new people moving around their neighborhood, moving into their neighborhood, calling themselves the brothers, committing identity theft, trying to marry into a birthright. It's nothing new here. This not new. Like I said, an interracial relationship by today's standards. It was reported on the 19th that a band headed by Chief Blue, and if you know anything about mobs or what you might term as gangs, some of the leaderships of some of those mobs might be called chiefs. Headed by Chief Blue, the leader of the Chickasaw Negro Indians. I'm pretty sure he wasn't the leader of all the Chickasaw Negro Indians, but he was the leader probably of his crew, was in open rebellion. In open rebellion to who? What they mean is they wasn't following the rules. They wasn't going with the grain. They was going against the grain. They was free. The insurrectionists had gone out on a marauding tour and were terrorizing the Indian citizens. They were terrorizing the people who acquiesced to the new Anglo-Saxon way, especially the squaw men, especially the Anglo-Saxon that was cosplaying as you. The eastern part of the Chickasaw Nation was in a state of terror. Do the right thing.